We are here to provide medical services for indigent children and their mothers. We feel like that it's the mothers and the children who are more underserved than the men. Our mission really has three facets. One is the team, obviously that's the big mission. We also bring children to the United States for medical and surgical care. And then the third facet of the mission is the supplies. We bring a lot of supplies for the team, but we also bring supplies that we think the hospitals might need.
The CoTA trip is more than just the trip. The trip is sort of the culmination of a year's worth of work where we do a lot of different pieces and parts to build up so that we can actually be ready to actually hit the ground and be in country.
When we come down, the local hospitals don't have many resources for us. So the first thing is we need to basically move a hospital to Guatemala.
When we get in country, we have a team that comes in. It's an advanced team. They usually are the ones that are working with the warehouse where we have all the stuff stored, getting the trucks, trucking it in, getting it unloaded, and getting it unpacked so that when the team actually gets in, then they can each set up their own areas, but there's sort of a central point. We have a quick turnaround. Most of the team gets here on a Saturday, and we have a major clinic day on Sunday.
In triage, what we do is take the folks that arrive in the morning, first thing, early, sometimes as early as 5:30 or 6 in the morning. The lines can queue up, over a quarter of a mile long. Sometimes we have to cut the line maybe early morning or mid-afternoon if there's just a high volume of patients. So we'll get through perhaps 500 or 600 patients on a given day.
The best part about CoTA is that it is, a bunch of people who are stepping out of their envelope that they do in their personal lives and coming here and really getting out of their comfort zone and really, doing some good.
I'm not going to give her an antibiotic. I think this is all viral.
This is normal. Basically, it's just a little bit of a vein that clotted off itself. Has a little calcium in it.
I don't feel a hernia. She feels a mass.
Se me hinchan mucho las manos, se me duermen, se me traban los dedos.
Dormir, it's kind of like you fell asleep.
¿Cómo estás durmiendo?
Our medical people tend to come from all over the U.S., which is really a fabulous experience because we have people from all kinds of different major medical centers and or smaller community hospitals.
Do you take any medicines at all?
¿Tomas alguna medicina por alguna enfermedad o algo?
And it's very interesting because we all come together in the course of a week and we all work like a well-oiled machine.
And this would be good. Well, this would be a good spot here, and they're just going to have to sit. And as Roger,
we roll into town and we're almost like a rolling MASH unit. We come in and it's sort of lock, stock, and barrel from the front end of triage all the way to post-op when they're actually released from the hospital and discharged.
At home in a huge university hospital, they have us do all these hours and hours of team building, and I say, send a team to some, needy area or, and have them just make it happen and make it work because this is the best team building experience you'll ever have.
Start breathing good through it. Good.
Good title on that.
That looks good.
Yeah, sounds great.
Let's keep it.
So general surgery covers pretty much all aspects of surgery, both in the abdomen and the chest. We perform things like cholecystectomies, hernia repairs, burn treatment, abdominal, and GI surgeries. Here in Guatemala, people don't have insurance and they don't have money. So if they don't have the resources to pay for surgery, they can't get it. And oftentimes they won't be able to get it until it becomes a life-threatening emergency here in Guatemala.
Years ago, the CoTA was a very small team of plastic surgeons who came down and did primarily lips and palates. And this plastic surgeon asked me if I wanted to go to Guatemala. And I said, for what? And he said, well, we'll go and we'll see if there's any GYN patients for you. And that first year in 2000, I saw more GYN surgery than he saw plastic surgery. And I've been coming down ever since, and the team has grown significantly.
Sounds good. Oh.
I'd turn that up a little bit more. Okay.
So this little guy has club feet that were never treated. He's been walking on the outside part of his feet since he was like a year old. Taking big wedges of abnormal tissue out of here.
You have a 10 cc syringe?
And I'll close the wounds, we'll measure him for a brace. My orthotist will come in the room and make a little cast to mold for his brace. Then I'll put him in a cast, and we'll meet him in the Capitol 6 weeks from now, and his braces will hopefully be ready.
What are we doing?
We are doing a bilateral club foot.
These are good. He's still has good movement in his hand.
Ebony was referred to us through a couple from the States who were walking down the street in a village in Guatemala, and her deformity of her cleft face was so obvious that this couple stopped her parents and discussed whether or not they were able to find treatment.
Oh, so tan grande. 3 años?
One thing led to another, and then Jennifer Chrisman knew to connect Ebony with Dr. James Lau at University of Kentucky.
CoTA, sponsored her, brought her up to the States for her first part of the surgery, which was to basically go intracranially and then move her eye sockets as well as her face together, and that went well, and she did well from that up in the States.
And so she stayed a week with us. We went with her to the surgery, stayed with her through the surgery, and then she came back for another 6 weeks or so to just recuperate. And it was just a wonderful experience. It was just, I can't explain the joy it was to have her in our house. She's a wonderful little girl, and so is her mother, who is also a little girl. Ebony took her first steps while we were at our house, and we got movies of that, and it was just wonderful.
Pues la verdad es que esperamos los mejores resultados como han sido los años pasados. Hola.
Eye opening? Yeah, let's do this. Let's do it.
The plan was to close her palate, because without a palate, you can't talk. And so that was the idea, but unfortunately her her facial cleft kind of drifted open, which is not uncommon. She's a growing child. And so because of that, I was unable to close her hard palate, but I was able to close her soft palate, which contains the muscles for speech. So hopefully that'll give her just a little bit more of a step up on being able to phonate and be able to talk.
There's a lot about healthcare we take for granted. I know of one patient that I spoke with personally that got in line at 1 o'clock in the morning Tuesday night so that she could see a physician on Wednesday. Her and her children could get medical care on Wednesday. So they got here at 1 o'clock, rode a bus several hours, stood in line all night, and finally got through the CoTA program at about noon. So the next time you have to go to the doctor and wait an hour, think about that woman and her children.
I met for the first time on this trip a young lady, Senorita Karen, we'll call her. My orthotist, who lives and works in the city here, had come in contact with this family since she was very young.
I know Karen around maybe 3 years ago. She went to my office looking she wanted a new prosthesis. A prosthesis because she never used before. 1 month ago, she back to my office because she told me she don't use the prosthesis anymore because she have many problems. And I think in CoTA, in Dr. Quill.
Her femur or thigh bone is no longer about that as a congenital defect on one side. and she has kind of a short vestigial limb beneath that, and growing out of the side of it was a foot.
And I tell her she need to came to Salamat to see Dr. Quill.
She convinced her parents to let us amputate this vestigial and essentially useless foot so that the rest of her limb could be managed as a standard above-knee amputation would be.
What he can do with her leg, he can offer something different for her.
Me puse de acuerdo con mi mamá a que me operaran porque ya mi pie ya me estaba molestando con la prótesis que tengo ya en la casa, que ya no me sirve. Y pues ahorita con los doctores y con los médicos y con los enfermeros, pues sí, fue bonito. Que gracias a todos porque me ayudaron y que me dieron una buena atención para que no sintiera mucho dolor.
Running a team and getting the supplies we need and getting them here and everything is not inexpensive. We are working in a third world country, so it's less expensive than if we were trying to do it in the US, but it still takes money to operate.
It takes about $50,000 to support the efforts of the group down here.
There's the problem of trying to get donations of surgical care for certain children.
And really and truly, there's nothing like providing a kid with a chance at a normal life when they have a lot of other circumstances that are already against them.
In the United States, there's a floor, and you can only fall so far. And even if you don't have medical insurance, and even if you don't have a doctor, you can walk into an emergency room and somebody's going to see you and somebody's going to do. Here, it's a bottomless pit. There is no floor.
I come back every year because I feel like I really make a difference here. If I make a difference in one person's quality of life in a team, then I'm blessed.
It's rugged work, but it is extremely rewarding to see what you can do for people that are in such need.
What I give and what I get back is a million times more than what I give.
Well, maybe it sounds crazy, but this is the truth. I can't see how people from other country came to my own country, help to the people, and I don't do nothing.
I mean, there's just something about that makes it worthwhile. I mean, we all really need to think about paying it forward. And when you pay it forward, in the end, you reap more than you give.
I love the children. I do. They're beautiful, and there's so much that we can do to help them. And some of the things, even though it might not seem like a big deal to us, some vitamins or a surgery, we can help people walk again. We can help people walk for the first time. It's just a wonderful thing to be a part of.
The Guatemalan people are an intelligent, lovely, caring people that just have lack of access to what they need to survive from day to day and for the long term. And they are just lovely people to serve. It's my honor to do that.